So recently I was watching LS Mark's video about the new Adam Sandler Halloween movie, and at one point he mentions a little something from 2007 called "I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry." My brain was like, whoa, 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 hold the phone. What is this? What the fuck is this? I need to watch it. Generally, when I make a mental note to watch something because it looks awful, I end up forgetting about it after a couple days and never end up actually seeing it. But this was different. I could not get this out of my head. So finally, 2 weeks after my initial exposure, I sat down and watched this masterpiece of cinematography. To start things off, Adam Sandler and Paul Blart Mall Cop are firefighters and best friends. You know that things are going to be good and grounded in realism when the movie opens, with 2 hot twins fighting over Sandler's character, Chuck. Like, maybe that's realistic in real life because people love money and fame and celebrity, but in what world where he isn't famous are 2 twins about to make out to prove what exactly? That they're freaky? That they deserve him? I mean, I guess if the first sister has major self-confidence issues and the second sister just fucked Chuck to get back at her and just wants to take him because she hates her or something, and the first sister is only in the relationship with Chuck in the first place because she hates herself, then maybe that can make sense as to why they're fighting over him. But I feel like if I'm gonna go that far to make up this whole ass backstory just to explain why they're fighting over a loser, it's not that great, yeah. The next scene, there's a fire, and they go into a burning building to save a guy, and the entire joke is just, haha, morbidly obese man funny, and there's 2 fart jokes in the span of 60 seconds. I actually like the scene where they're going through the burnt building, and Chuck and Paul Blart Mall Cop really connect, and you can tell just how good of friends they actually are. And they have great chemistry together. And for me, good characters and relationships can absolutely save an otherwise piece of trash media. You can have all kinds of plot holes and bad writing, but if the characters and their relationships are grounded and solid, I will eat that shit up. Sadly, this movie isn't quite able to capture that. But while they're in this burnt building, the floor gives out, and Sandler's character falls. Paul Blart Mall Cop catches him, and they both black out and wake up in the hospital. Adam Sandler sexually harasses the doctor, and as she walks out, because she's the first woman to have had a human reaction to this and just been like, fuck off, dude, you're not funny, you're not cute. She walks out, and all the firefighters are like, ooh, yeah, fuck him, baby, and that could be a commentary on sexism, but it's not, because this movie is just sexist as hell. When they're released from the hospital, I shit you not, I cannot make this stuff up, a minivan full of Hooters girls comes to pick up Sandler. They're all over him. They're like, oh, are you okay? Oh, you're so hot. Let me touch you. Oh. He has to be paying these women, right? There is no way you can convince me that these girls are there of their own volition if they're not getting paid. His dick is not that good. I'm sorry, it's not. The thing is, you can find a couple women that are like this in real life. They do exist. They do just fawn over bullshit men that have nothing going for them. But you're not going to find the fucking hordes and that treat him like he's some god. There's no realistically written women in this entire film. So the whole crux of this movie is that Paul Blart Mall Cop's wife died a few years prior, and he fucked up his pension benefactor thing, and so if he dies, the kids will have nothing. So after his scare in the hospital, he realizes, oh my god, I have to quit being a firefighter, this is too dangerous, the kids can't lose their dad, they've already lost their mom, they can't be orphans, I have to stop. But then he realizes that if he marries Chuck, he can be the pension benefactor and take care of his kids if he dies. So then it's totally fine if he dies in his mind, because I guess money can fill the void of a dead father. I'm not saying he's a bad person for doing so, but he seemed concerned about his children a moment prior, and now he's just like, oh, whatever, as long as they have money, I can die, it's fine. It doesn't really, the logic doesn't make that much sense to me, but maybe that's just me, maybe I'm stupid. So Paul Blart Mall Cop goes to Adam Sandler's house and is like, join me in domestic partnership. And Adam Sandler is like, miss me with that gay shit, bro. And then all of the Hooters girls come pouring out of his bedroom and they're like, we missed you, Adam. And he's like, go get some drinks from the fridge while I stare at your asses. And it's very uncomfortable. And then to put the icing on the cringe cake, the doctor from earlier also comes out of his room and she's like, oh, come fuck me, Adam. Even if Adam Sandler was the hottest man on earth, I would still have a hard time suspending my disbelief enough to think that every single woman he meets falls to her knees. I think maybe something has gone to his head because women do this in real life because of the money and shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe he's just like,
I want to be a playboy and have titties and ass in my movie. Can't be too gay. Gotta show that I like titties and ass. Not man ass. Lady ass. The lesbians are hot. Don't forget that.
I like the bit where they sign the papers and the dude is like, you're partners now, fellas. And they just like do the handshake hug thing, and it's like, it was cute and awkward, and I enjoyed that. If more of the movie was just silly gags and stuff like that, I would like this movie. So some dude from the insurance company comes to talk to Paul Blart Mall Cop about his domestic partnership. Make sure he isn't faking the gay. The dude sees a photo of Paul Blart Mall Cop's wife and is like, oh, so you haven't always been gay? And Paul Blart Mall Cop stumbles his way through a sentence and he's like, oh no, I'm newly gay, just aboard the dude train. And then Chuck shows up, and, you know, wherever he be, hot chicks follow. So across the street, there's some lady gardening with her tits just fucking out. Just, yeah. And he's like, hey, yo, baby, show me them titties. And the insurance guy is like, what? Titties? And Paul Blart is like, he's actually talking about man titties, I swear. And, like, this could be a funny way of straight people just forgetting that bisexuals exist. But this whole movie just completely ignores their existence. Unless you're a hot woman who's fucking another woman and Adam Sandler. But even then, it's not really bi, it's probably just bi-curious or lesbianics. The movie refuses to acknowledge sexuality as any kind of spectrum, and it's just gay or straight. But in the scene, Sandler has the line, that makes me so sad and gay, and I'm gonna start using that. It's like my new favorite catchphrase. Then they talk about how much gay sex they're having, and they scare the pension dude away. So they go and see a lawyer to see what they can do to get the insurance companies off their back and make them believe that they are a legitimate couple. So their lawyer just happens to be a sexy lawyer lady. Almost every scene in this movie is just, there's a sexy lady that Adam Sandler wants to fuck, but he can't because he has to be gay. And she tells them that they should just go to Canada and tie the knot. So they're driving through Canada looking for where they want to get married, and their cab driver calls them queers, and they're like, hey, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, don't say that. And then he calls them the F slur, and they actually do beat the shit out of him. And if this movie was more beating the shit out of homophobes, then maybe it would be a good movie. They get married, and the racial stereotype of an officiator is like, husband and husband, you may kiss. And Chuck fucking decks Paul Blart Mall Cop, because he ain't gay. So something I had forgotten to mention up to this point is that the movie has been heavily queer-coding Paul Blart Mall Cop's son. He looks to be around 8, and Paul Blart Mall Cop is very distressed by his feminine tendencies. One of the only, decent character arcs in this movie is Paul Blart Mall Cop being able to come to terms with this fact that his son may be gay, and that's okay. Even though it's really only vaguely glossed over that he's okay with it. Like, in the beginning of the movie, he's like, can't you just be more manly? And then at the end, he seems to accept that his son likes to dance and bake and things like that. And, that's good. But at one point, Adam Sandler tries to show this, literal, 8-year-old looking kid a porn mag to figure out if he's gay. What the fuck? That's a literal child! What the fuck? Adam Sandler's character is just such a shitty person who gets rewarded by everything in life for no reason. You know that trope in rom-coms where they're like, oh no, we have to share a bed? Well, that happens in this, but instead of providing sexual tension, Adam Sandler just makes jokes about Paul Blart's dead wife, and it was just odd. They go to a gay dance party, and when they're leaving, there's the typical God hates queers crowd outside. And you have to have your straight savior moment, so the only 3 people to step forward and defend the gays from the evil homophones are the 3 straight characters, even if 2 of them are pretending to be gay at this point. And then the ringleader of the homophobes calls Adam Sandler the F slur, and Adam Sandler fucking punches him and knocks him out, and he's all like, that's not a nice word, and which could be a good callback and show character growth, because Adam has learned to not use that word since he was called out earlier. But he just spent the entire party making fun of sexy lawyer lady's brother for being too gay and just being like, he's learned nothing, he's grown none. He just doesn't like to be on the receiving end of slurs. That's not character growth. Paul Blart Mall Cop has career day at his daughter's school, and at this point, it's become public knowledge in the community that he's gay. One of the kids asked if he was half lesbian since he's been married to a woman. I thought that was like a cute line. That was cute. The principal doesn't want Paul Blart Mall Cop to coach baseball anymore because he's gay, and Paul Blart Mall Cop fucking beats the shit out of him. And like, that could have been good again. Like, this could be, oh look, anti-homophobic and all this. Like, you could be just, but the movie is so homophobic of itself that when the characters are like, oh, homophobia is bad, it doesn't mean anything. So Adam Sandler and lawyer lady go on a girls' day shopping trip, and it feels so fucking predatory because she's under the impression that Adam Sandler is gay and in a committed relationship. And he's really just like creeping at her and ogling her the whole time. They go back to her apartment and she strips down to her undies. And for God knows why reason, because women just fall at Adam Sandler's feet, she's like, hey, look at my tits. They're real, you know? And then she makes Adam Sandler touch her tits. And so he sits there and plays with their titties. And he's like, ah. And then later they're like hanging out making friendship bracelets. And she tries to set the mood and kisses him. And he's a sleazebag, but maybe they're perfect for each other because apparently she's a sleazebag too. Because she is a lawyer who just kissed her married gay client. What the fuck? You don't do that. So Paul Blart Mall Cop finds out that Adam Sandler has been spending all of his time with lawyer lady and is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. We're already being questioned. That doesn't help her case. I don't want to go to prison for insurance fraud. Then the news publishes a story that apparently 16 women came forward to say that they had slept with Adam Sandler in the last year. And instead of anyone questioning him if he's bisexual, they're just like, why you sleep with women when you gay? And Adam's just like, I sleep with women because I'm scared of being gay. But I forgive this awful scene because he says, I'm just a big gay jerk. And honestly, mood. They go to a pride parade and there's another Batman funny joke. Goes, laugh, Batman funny, laugh. So they go to court, they're put on trial. They're like, why you sleep with women when you gay? Bisexuality does not exist in this world. Anyway, Chuck and Paul Blart Mall Cop prove their love for each other by showing just how deep of a connection they have when quizzed by the court. But then they're like, if you really love each other, you should kiss, because this is like a bad fan fiction. And then they looking like they about to vomit, because kissing your homies is gay. But then right before their lips meet, their fire captain dude from the fire station runs in and is like, hold on, Your Honor, those two men are straight. And then he goes on some tirade about how they taught them a valuable lesson of friendship and compassion, and he mentions it doesn't matter what sexuality you are, and he lists like a bunch of sexualities, including bisexuality. So bisexuality is canon in this universe. Why does no one else know it exists? Why have they been pretending like it's a fake and doesn't even, God, this is too much like real life. And then Paul Blart Mall Cop and Adam Sandler just fess up and they're like, yeah, we're actually straight. And so they're gonna arrest them, but then everyone pulls that if you arrest them, you're gonna have to arrest me. And so everyone gets arrested, like the entire fire station gets arrested. I don't know who is taking care of fires in New York or wherever the fuck it is that they live now, because all of the firefighters just got thrown in jail. And so the judge dude comes up and is like, hey, if you plead guilty, you'll just get like a slap on the wrist and you're home free. Also, the gays think you're heroes. Like, excuse me, what did they do for the entire LGBT community to think of them as heroes? Excuse me? What the fuck? So then they release a gay fireman calendar and everything is yay, good. And Adam Sandler and lawyer lady get together, and I guess that's fine since they're both awful people. So yeah, what a great movie. I know if anyone made it this far, you're probably thinking, Devin, this is an Adam Sandler movie from 2007 about two straight men pretending to be gay. You are taking this shit way too seriously. And I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I just couldn't help it. I just was so mind blown by this movie's existence, I feel like. I feel like this could have actually been like a fun comedy with just a few minor changes. Make Chuck a womanizer, but not the kind that women actually like the kind that just creep them the fuck out. Also, acknowledge bisexual existence. They could have pretended to be bi when all this happened. And also, make Chuck and Larry fall in love. Just make it a rom-com. You're welcome. Fixed your movie. So if anyone actually made it to the end of this, thank you so much for watching. This is my first like semi-scripted video that I've ever done. So I have no idea how it will turn out. but I had a really good time making it, and I'd like to make more of this type of content in the future. So, if you liked it, hit subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment maybe, whatever you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!